All right, let's take a look at a system of inequalities this time. So it's like a system of equations. It works similar to that. It's also like graphing a linear inequality. So it's sort of the mashup of those two things. So we're going to start by simply graphing the first inequality. So remember, this is like y equals mx plus b form. So when we graph, we always start at the end when it's in that form. So that means we're going to go up one and put a point on the graph. And then this negative x right here is telling us that the slope, which is m, is -1, which means we're going to, rise over run, right? We're going to go down one and over one. So from here, I'm going to go down one, right one, down one, right one, or up and left one, up and left. And you can see that that's forming a nice straight line. And so from there, we're going to draw that line. And this one gets to be a solid line because this is greater than or equal to. If it's got that line underneath it, think of that line right there, the equals part of it saying draw a complete line. If it was just greater than, we would just have a dashed line. That's the only difference. Okay, so then the next question is, where do we shade this? And so I'm going to take that and I'm going to test out 0, 0 for my test point. That's an XY coordinate. So I'm just going to, substitute for X and for Y here. So Y is 0 greater than or equal to negative X, which I'm going to put in as 0 plus 1. And the question is that true? So I've got 0 is greater than or equal to, well, nothing essentially, right? Negative nothing is still nothing, plus 1. So it really, using 0, 0 just helps us to just get rid of everything. And we know it's 0 on the left side and the number on the right. So the question is 0 greater than or equal to 1? No, $0 is not more than $1. So that is not true. That means I'm not going to graph here where the where 0, 0 is. I'm going to graph on this side. And that means I'm going to shade on this side. Okay. So there is the first one. Y is greater than or equal to negative X plus 1. Okay. Let's do a different color. I'm going to do green for this one. All right. So Y is less than 1/3 X minus 3. So for this, I'm going to start down here at -3 on the Y axis. And then my slope is 1/3. So that's up 1 and right 3. Or down 1 and left 3. Right. Okay. From there, I want to think about dashed or solid line, and I don't have that underline right underneath the less than symbol. So that tells me that this is going to be a dashed line. So, something like this. You just want to connect the dots as best you can, but make sure that it's clear that that is a dashed line and not a solid line. And now we'll test 0, 0. So let's go here. 0 is less than 1/3 times 0 minus 3. Well, 1/3, anything times 0 is 0. So that's saying 0 is less than -3. 0 is not less than -3. 0 is more than -3. So that's wrong. That means I don't graph where the 0, 0 is. I graph on the other side of the line, which is here. Now, that shows that this little section that overlaps right here, this little triangle, I know it's not neat and pretty. I'll show you a neat and pretty solution in just a second. That little section, those are the solutions. The directions say sketch the solution here. And so the solutions are all in this little section where the orange is. Let me go ahead and clear that and show you. Da, da, da. Okay, there we go. So they're not showing the full, like they're not showing all of the shading out here and down here because they're only showing the solution part. So when you do this, I don't encourage students to erase the rest of it. I mean, this out here shows that you understand those are solutions for this equation. So I would leave it. You just want to make sure that this particular section is either a different color or a darker shading, or somehow visually that you can tell that that is the solution section. All right. I hope that helps. Not a simple process, but you can do this. I'm firmly a believer that you are capable of this. All right. I'll see you next time.